Welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a top-level match of Zerg versus Terran. And when it comes to top-level StarCraft, it really doesn't get much better than these two. So I'm excited to find out exactly what went down in this particular series. Spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner of Blackburn, playing with the red Zerg drones. From Finland, we're looking at Serral's main base. His opponent in the bottom right-hand corner, normally actually joined by the little polar bear right there on the main command center, but apparently it didn't appear just yet here in the main base. Wouldn't be surprised at all if it appears in the natural in just a second. But from France, playing with the blue SCVs and actually recently overtaking Serral as the #1 highest ranked player in the world on Aligelec, we have none other than Clem. Alrighty, so here we go. Now, interestingly enough, this particular game, right, it takes place on Blackburn. So real quick, when it comes to tournaments in StarCraft 2, usually, players get to veto maps, right? So say it's a best-of-5 series, both players, since there are 7 maps in the competitive map pool of StarCraft 2 right now, both players get to veto 1 map each. If it's a best-of-3, however, they both get to veto 2 maps each. Now, when this map first came out, a couple of months ago at this point, with the new ladder season, it was heavily in favor of Terran. So it was like 65, maybe even 70% or so in favor of Terran at the professional level. So Zerg players would veto this one across the board pretty much right away. So when I noticed, when I just loaded up this replay, that it takes place on Blackburn, I had a quick little look at the Wikipedia page results for this particular map, and then, you know, only the professional level, of course. Apparently, it's now slightly in favor of Zerg. So I'm not entirely sure exactly what has changed. I do know that Zergs in general have been playing a lot more Roach Ravager focused. So maybe that's something we're going to see out of Serral. But at least initially, when this map first came around, yeah, it was just not looking particularly hot for Zerg players. But apparently right now, we may very well see the style that Zergs have been favoring on this map instead. I highly doubt that it's just going to be the standard Mutaling Bane or Hydraling Bane or Ling Bane Ultra kind of style, but I don't know, maybe. This map is just kind of tough, man. Like, there's a couple of locations, like, for example, here in the back of the main base where siege tanks can go, and, well, little Reapers right here can jump up as well, of course. It's a difficult position to break for Zerg players if they're not paying very close attention to exactly what's going on. And maybe that's actually what they're doing right now, right? Maybe they're just a little bit more well aware of the strategies that are viable. And even though they do require a very specific response, maybe things are a little bit better right now. Anyways, nice micro here, of course, by Clem. I mean, Clem, the guy has got insane micro. Good pullbacks right there as well by Serral. I mean, a weaker Zerg player probably would have lost a Zergling or two, but there's no denying that Clem is already showing us what he is made of. He's going for a triple command center opener, which is pretty cool. Following it up right here, of course, as well with the quick Hellions. So just one Reaper into a Marine, then into the factory. Now finally the starport as well, but... Or actually, no, it's not a starport, it's the second barracks. Oh, alright. Yeah, so this is actually a build that I quite like. So here's the thing, right? A lot of Zerg players on maps like this will just not feel too comfortable playing a macro game, right? Now, this is Serral we're talking about, so I highly doubt that he does not feel comfortable playing a macro game, because that's kind of what he does. But a lot of Zerg players like to play very aggressively. And even though this is a quick third command center right here from Terran, this is actually a very safe start. So, say for example, right, Serral decides to go for a Roach all-in or a Roach Ravager push or whatever else you have as a Zerg, right? Generally speaking, they will hit right around the 5-minute mark, 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And with this kind of opener, when you go for the double Marine start, yeah, he's only making 2 Hellions here, which is kind of cool. And now he's already transitioning to, once again, Marine production. So this may very well make the Zerg player think, upon seeing those Hellions, that it's a standard Hellion opener. But as a matter of fact, right here, it's just going to be a Marine start instead. And if Zerg decides to go for a push, I mean, they're going to walk right into the Stimpack upgrade, finishing up. And then triple CC Terran. I mean, even if you kill 20 workers, Terran will still just be able to drop those beautiful yellow mining machines, right? So, yeah, oh, there it is, by the way. The little polar bear. I still don't know what it's supposed to be. It's mlem, because I think that's the sound that a polar bear makes, or I don't know. A polar bear doesn't make that kind of sound, all right? I'm pretty sure if a polar bear is looking at you and he wants, you're just dead, right? Isn't that how polar bears work? Assuming at least you come across them in the wild. Pretty sure polar bears, other than like the little baby polar bears, they're not as nice. Well, they're nice looking, but they're probably not going to be as nice to you, is what I'm trying to say. Even though that guy looks very friendly. Anyways, yeah, so far, relatively normal start, right? But we do indeed have that Roach Warren right now from Serral. So he's going into the lair. Roach Warren looks to be, I didn't really see the exact timing, but probably like 4 minutes or so on the Roach Warren, maybe 3.5. Something along those lines. He's just making a couple of roaches right now as well. He did make actually a lot of overlords. So he definitely does have the option at this point to just continue making more and more roaches. He's actually made a couple too many overlords, it feels like to me, but... yeah, maybe this is... there's no way that isn't on purpose. Well, maybe it is. Did Serral just make a little mistake? What? Is God human? Wait, what? Say it ain't so. This makes me uncomfortable, Serral. You make 2 overlords more than what we normally see? Insane. Anyways, he's going for the double... wait, didn't I see... yeah, I did see double Evo. For some reason, they're spread around the different bases. Seems complex to me because, you know, now you can easily forget one of those upgrades, but... probably not going to be an issue here for Mr. Serral. One thing that you do have to keep in mind with these kind of roach openers is that the supply count can be a little bit deceiving. So if you look right now at the supply count here for Zerg, you can see that it's, well, significantly more than the Terran, when normally at this stage in the game it's a little bit more even at the very least. The problem is with Roach Ravager, yes, it's very good, but it also falls off pretty badly as the game progresses. So they're really good at defending, assuming they're in the right place at the right time, but they soak up a lot of supply. So Zerg players, generally speaking, do max out pretty quickly with these Roach Ravager-based openers. But, no, nice little bit of micro. It's just, like, once it maxes out, that's the strongest it's going to be, right? And at that point, Clem is probably going to be sitting at, like, 160 supply or so, depending on what goes down. And, yeah, it's only gonna get stronger from there, right? The Terran army. So you gotta take that supply count with a grain of salt and not immediately think, okay, this is way better for the Zerg right now because he's got so much supply. Anyways, drop right here inside of the main base, using that that very close air-to-air distance. A couple of roaches over here apparently dedicated to protecting the gold base, but they're gonna have to walk around before they can actually get back over here. So already, man, the harassment is quite annoying, right? This is what Clem does best. People are always complimenting Bjorn for this kind of move, and don't get me wrong, Bjorn is looking really strong as well. But I'm almost more impressed by Clem recently. Is that even something I can say? I almost feel like I'm admitting to something dirty. It's like, little guys, I don't tell my mom, okay? But I've been more impressed by Clem recently than Bjorn. No, but it's true, like Clem, he's been looking ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, by the way, this creep spread is looking quite ridiculous already as well. Serral definitely on top of that. Just playing the straight up macro game here. Looks like he's gonna go from a Roach Ravager start right now into a Ling Bane follow-up. At least he's getting the Baneling speed, and he's got a lot of Zerglings right now as well. I would love to see the +1 melee start up, because I feel like that's kind of critical. Instead, he is now favoring to go for a very quick hive. So this is Roach Ravager into Ling Bane into very quick hive. He does start up +1 melee at this point, okay. That's a misclick. Both of these players are human? What? Probably meant to scan, but he accidentally dropped the mule instead. Alright. Screw that Marine in particular, apparently. Baneling speed is not done yet. It's 10 seconds from finishing. The thing is, though, this creep spread is looking so... yeah, it's gonna buy him a lot of time, right? Creep spread is looking so ridiculously good. He's actually gonna be able to come in from a lot of different angles here if he wants to. Screw a concave, man. A circle is where it's at. Would even love to see a couple of these roaches go over there and then you come in from every single side. Oh, it's actually Ultras. Okay, so he is playing Lingbane Ultra, but he's just doing so after opening up Roach Ravager. Huh. I thought maybe he was rushing out a couple Vipers or something, but... okay. So I thought maybe we were going to be in for something spicy here from Serral, but I don't think it's the case. Anyways, he does have a 360 surround coming in on top of this Terran force. That being said, good retreat right there by Clem, sniffing out the last possible second what was going on in this particular battle. Oh my god. Even though this fight looked phenomenal for Serral, it's not that bad here for Terran, though. He's getting a couple Vipers at this point as well. Okay, a lot of Zerglings as a follow-up, but keep in mind, these Zerglings are not going to be that well upgraded. Yeah, and the gold base is going to be evacuated. These drones apparently are heading on over towards that location in the map instead. It's one of those moments where you kind of wish that this mineral field was already running out so you could actually, like, you know, go through the mineral field and get to the other side. Scan over here reveals as well for the Terran player that there is no hatchery down south, so it indicates to me that Clem can continue fighting for a little while longer. He's got a lot of reinforcements. He's adding on those additional barracks right now as well, now that the 4th command center is up and running. Okay, a couple of corrosive balls do indeed connect. Nothing too crazy, though. I think he's dead, Serral. Stop hitting him, Serral. He's already dead. Ultralisks, Adrenal Glands, and now the base comes up. Okay. Zerglings with a counterattack. Now, as I tried pointing out, these reinforcements for Clem are pretty much always at the right place at the right time. I mean, he still gets a siege tank. Not bad. I find the Roach Ravager start kind of awkward here, actually. Like, it was good, but nothing really was done. Like, I feel like the same thing could have been achieved with just... maybe not. It just makes this, like, army composition a little bit more diluted, you know? Like, the upgrades just don't really work out very well. I feel like if this Zerg army had +2 melee, it would be quite a bit better. I'm not sure, though. Anyways, a couple of drones end up going down here. Yeah, Clem is looking so dangerous, man. Like, even though this is kind of an awkward start here for... look at this spread. Even though this is a bit of an awkward start in this game from the Zerg player, Clem looks at it once and he's like, nah, this is what you do. Oh god, this is a very expensive Ravager loss. Actually worked out better than I thought it was. Or thought it would. Siege tank over there will just barely stay alive. Ultras are getting a lot of value in, okay. One of it though, or one of them rather, does go down. I don't know if there's going to be enough actually for the Zerg player to keep holding this position. Yeah, he really needs those armor upgrades. Without the armor upgrades, these Marines and Marauders are just simply enough to actually deal with all of this. Couple of Ultras going in for the counterattack, joined by a few Ravagers. But once again, look, without the armor upgrades, these Ultras just absolutely melt. So he's got +2, but he needs +3. Well, actually, yeah. Ultras just melt in general, I guess. Oh, no. This is kind of what I expected from Blackburn and what I've seen on Blackburn recently as well. It just seems like once you have a really good Terran player, they just know exactly how to play it. And Clem certainly seemed in control right here in game number 1 against Serral. All right, 2,000 atmospheres is going to be game number 2. I'm assuming this is Serral's map pick, and then the previous one was Clem's map pick. I just think it makes a little bit more sense for the Zerg players to enjoy playing this one. It's just much more wide open, nothing really out of the ordinary, just a standard macro map. This is... I almost feel like they made this map with Serral in mind, you know? Like, there's a lot of creep that you can spread. There's about 17 different creep tumors that you do need if you want to spread it perfectly. But a really good Zerg player can certainly pull it off. Both of these players, though, generally do play the same builds over and over and over again, or at least variations of the same theme. So, I don't really expect Clem to, you know, build a bunch of barracks on the other side of the map, and I don't really expect Serral to go for a Baneling bust. Even though Clem may very well open up differently here without such a quick 3rd command center, for example, or without such a quick 2nd barracks. All the roads, right, they lead to Rome, and all the roads for Terran kind of lead towards Marine Siege Tank in the mid-game, and the same for Zerg, apparently. Even though he opened up with Roaches and Ravagers, eventually he did get to that Lingbane army. I do still feel, though, that Serral kind of diluted his army a little bit, right? So he went +1 missile. So, okay, recently, spoiler alert, I suppose, we had the GSL Codes Grand Finals between a Rogue and Maru. And in that particular series, a Rogue went for a lot of Roach Ravager openers as well, which is definitely not a new build at all. It's the build that has been around since, like, Wings of Liberty, or I guess we didn't have Ravagers back then, but, you know, the build has been around for a very long time. Basically, you just go 66 workers, you go for Roach speed, +1/+1, and then you hit them in the face when all the upgrades finish up. I felt like Rogue was committing a lot more aggressively to the Roaches and Ravagers before making any of those transitions. In this particular game that we just watched, right, or in the game that we just saw on Blackburn, it felt like Serral made a lot of Roaches and Ravagers and then just, like, awkwardly morphed all of the Ravagers after, like, he didn't really need Roaches anymore. And then, I don't know, he didn't really get a lot of value out of it, right? Like, I feel like they were supposed to carry more than just the early game. I'm not sure. Then again, I'm also pretty sure that Rogue would never be able to kill Clem with those kind of Roach Ravager-based pushes. I don't know. Maru made some decisions in that particular series that I don't think Clem would necessarily make. Anyways, Reaper Guy has shown up once again in a natural expansion. He's already got 1 kill. One Zergling apparently will end up going down. Do you think Clem is always looking at the clock to see... Oh, he's gonna get Tumor? Oh, it's very close. Do you think Clem is looking at the clock and he knows the exact timing at which the queen comes out? I think it's like 2 minutes and 37 seconds or so, because he always seems to head back right at the perfect moment. A lot of Terran players accidentally find their Reaper overextended. Usually, Clem seems to be able to get away just like one spine from that queen away from finishing, right? Before the thing dies. Obviously, it heals very quickly outside of combat, so it'll be fine here. All right. Third CC once again, pretty quickly. You can see, though, this time around, not a very quick tech lab just yet. No second barracks either. So, variation on the same theme. I'm assuming at the very least he's just going to keep making Hellions here for a little while longer. So, normally with Hellion openers, we see, I would say 6 to 8 or so. Obviously, there was, once again, like, there's a lot of variety over there as well. You can go for Hellbat pushes too. And the Hellbat pushes obviously make things, yeah, a little bit more complex, but... just making 2 of them is a little bit awkward. Maybe that's actually the reason why Serral decided to plant down the Roach Warren as well. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. Anyways, apparently the big switch rewrite happened, or just now happened inside of the main base. So he did add on a tech lab, and he is going to go and put that tech lab right here on the starport, and then also go for the cloaking field upgrade. Overlord's in the back. Serral, of course, well familiar with the timing at which he needs to be sending that one in. Usually between 3:45 and 4 minutes seems to be the normal time. So he's going to get a scout right now inside of the main base and see literally everything. All right. He's like, yeah, I could sacrifice it right now, but if Martin is a little bit late to shooting at me, I guess I'll fly it once again to the corner of the base instead. What's the response going to be? Okay, lair. Probably a Baling Nest here pretty soon as well, just to go for that Baling speed upgrade pretty early on. There's already 6 queens out. There's going to be 2 more here. A lot of players have been going 9 queens recently in this particular matchup, which I actually like a lot. It seems that whenever, like, if you're a Zerg player right now, right, and you have troubles in the early game, you're probably not making enough queens. Like, the general idea is just make as many queens as you can, because they're really good against pretty much everything that Terran players can throw at you in the earlier stages of it, right? A couple Zerglings, obviously not a bad idea. Now, cloaking field is not done yet. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. All right, that was very close. Yeah, so the timing of that Spore Crawler maybe not as... could have probably been built like 3 seconds earlier. It seemed a little bit late to me, but Serral probably noticed the timing right there of those structures and realized he didn't need the Spore there as early as you might need if it is without the quick third command center. So nice timing actually there by the finisher. It's going to be Mutilating Bane here. Ooh, okay. Whenever I see someone playing Mutilating Bane against Clem, I believe it was Raynor that said this like 2 years ago. Not 2 years ago, like a year ago. When he brought up that he likes playing Mutilating Bane, but he doesn't like playing against Clem because Clem is too good against Mutilating Bane. I think it was Raynor that said that. Anyways, point being is that I always get a little bit anxious whenever I see anyone going Mutilating Bane against Clem. Because the guy just doesn't die. Like, the way you win... Okay, here's the problem, right? The way you win against someone with Mutilating Bane is by having better mechanics than them. Meaning that you have to out-multitask them, you have to stay on top of your creep spread, you have to do the Baling run-bys, you basically have to, yeah, just play a better game than them, right? It seems that recently I have not really seen Clem get outplayed by anyone. I don't know. Maybe I'm starting to turn into a bit of a Clem fanboy, but I'm just being honest with you. Like, the man seems insanely good. Like, he makes little mess-ups here and there, but globally speaking, I actually think, mechanically speaking, right now, Clem is probably the best player in the world. Can I make that statement? I don't know, man. Maybe someone's gonna disagree with me, but I watch a lot of StarCraft, and the guy is insane. Well, I say that, of course. That's the caster curse! No, but seriously, though, he's you know. Yeah, okay, whatever. The caster curse always happens. You can never make a statement like that. It will bite you in the butt right away. Can you kill those tumors, please? Thank you. A lot of Zerg army is setting up right here for the surround as well. A couple of Banelings at the front. Okay, siege tank number 1 will probably be cleaned up pretty easily. Although I say that, he decides to run by it. He's trying to kill off the bio and then probably come back to kill the siege tanks a little bit later. Yeah, the siege tanks do end up going down and his army gets cleaned up. Only one worker actually was killed here by Clem in total. Guess Serral just didn't really have that much eco here to begin with. Okay. Serral definitely needs more workers, by the way, because 1-1 start. So this is the problem with Mutilating Bane, right? 1-1 starts up right now, as Terran is starting up +2/+2. That is crazy. That is a full upgrade advantage. Mutilating Bane usually is already a little bit late as far as upgrades go in general, especially with 3-3, because you need a Hive as a Zerg player to go 3-3. I would not mind this start here from Serral if he was playing against a triple CC Terran. Okay, he gets a Siege Tank over here. That's really nice. Medevac as well? Well, Marine, Medevac? Yeah, okay. These mutas right now are getting some worth. However, this is a 4th command center already done right here for Clem. So it's not like Terran is, like, economically really invested in, like, dealing damage with these pushes. I mean, obviously he needs to deal some sort of damage, but I think this is very playable. Follow-up right here from Terran as well. It's going to be the Drilling Claws upgrade. We have the Thor coming up here too, which I really like. Thor is super annoying for the Zerg player because he's going to have to keep his Mutalisk split. Because otherwise those Javelin missiles can just accidentally kill stuff. Alright. Serral's going to try and run into the natural here. Those mutas actually helping out quite a lot. Luckily here for Terran, there were still a lot of Marines over at the 4th base and are not out on the map. At the same time, a couple of Lings are also moving on over towards the 3rd base of Terran. He's actually getting quite a lot of eco damage done. The big difference, though, is that Terran has been remaking those SCVs for a while already. And only just now is when we finally see more drones going up. I mean, we've seen them for a little while, but finally Zerg is going to be sitting at 80+ workers. Which I actually think is very critical when playing this kind of style. 70 workers, Mutilating Bane. I don't mind it against triple CC Terran, but against 4 command centers, I think you need at least 80. Probably more, to be honest. It's just difficult to not commit resources, though, to army right here if you're playing against Clem. This guy is laying down the law. Look at the resources, by the way, at the bottom of the screen, right? Clem is always so clean when it comes to just keeping that money very low. He's going to be able to start up 3-3 here very shortly as well. +2/+2 is finishing up right now. Okay, 1 Medevac will end up getting killed. 2nd Medevac also will be picked off. Nicely done right here. Real question is, can these Widow Mines go? Oh my god, yes! Can these Widow Mines connect? They sure can. That now opens up the door for Clem to continue pushing here. Banelings get morphed in a bit of a desperate position. A lot of the other army, though, that was busy over at the 4th base of the Terran player will now come back home as well. Is there going to be enough for Serral to push this back? He will finish up a couple more of those Banelings as well, so that should be very nice. A lot of Medevacs in this location of the map, too. If they get picked off, that is a disaster. You do not want to lose those units as a Terran player. Okay, he's actually wondering if there's any more reinforcing dropships right there, I think, in the top left-hand corner. Lings and Bane should be able to clean this up. Siege Tank will be killed. The creep here not looking so hot anymore, but Serral is going to be able to... Ooh, there's still a Widow Mine. Ah, once again, massive connection. I think eventually you should be able to push this back. At the same time, those mutas that we saw heading on over towards the other side of the map, they finally arrived there. Once again, picking up a couple of units as they pop out of those production structures. No way that this hatchery at the 12 o'clock position will go down. That was not a cancel. That was a kill. Supply depot right there with the little hat as well. Also will get picked off. Okay. The Widow Mine's actually being dropped right here inside of the mineral line. Ay. He's going to head on over towards the natural expansion as well, just to stress the multitasking even more. Okay, mutas at this point, though. Plentiful numbers. He's going to be able to, just run over the map wherever he wants to. Nothing over here, though. Well, one missile turret once again, but I don't think that's quite going to be enough. He's going to have, I think, enough mutas right here to... Well, it's going to cost him a bunch of mutas as well. It might not necessarily be worth it. And I think usually Serral wins these type of games by out-multitasking his opponents. But that's what I'm saying, like... or at least what I'm trying to say. It's uncommon that I see that happening against Clem. I don't know, maybe someone will tell me I'm wrong, and it could very well be, but I don't really see a lot of games where Serral... Or sorry, where Clem is just being outskilled. So he's coming back once again to this position of the map. And I really like it because the creep threat here is now gone, right? The creep was quite far out. Muta's once again ready to go for their loop-de-loop around the map. This is a difficult position to set up surrounds on as well. Are you really going to go through this choke point? Okay, he's going to try at the very least. That Widow Mine's still not exploding, so it's still going to be available. Mutas once more make their way towards the other side of the map. This time around, they're going to be able to go after those missile turrets easy peasy because the numbers have been growing. At the same time, there's an army right here on the right side of the map as well. Lynx and Bane's trying to go throughout that choke point. Oof. Or trying to go through the choke point, rather. Command center even gets killed. Okay. Fifth command center right here on the left side of the map. Man, this is actually a sick game right now. We see hatchery is being picked off, but command centers as well. That's another CC that will not live to tell this tale. Right now, we're talking 3-base Terran economy going up against 4-base Zerg, which I think is a pretty good position for our Zerg player right now to be in. That being said, he doesn't have that much eco. He doesn't have that much here in general. Very nice. Careful, though. Still a couple of Widow memes. Oof. Luckily, Mutas also heal up pretty quickly out of combat. Clem also still had some money, so he decided to start up a couple additional command centers. I think that's the main base. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Did I just miss it while it was in the middle of my screen? Probably. Anyways, he's floating the main base on over towards the low ground here, which I really like. One of the features, of course, of Terran. Really nice, but you can see now there's 33 SCVs ready to mine 8 mineral patches, and that's a little bit too many. Hive starts up at this point. Terran, though, as I was trying to explain earlier, went straight into the 3-3 upgrades, meaning that for the foreseeable future, until Serral finishes up 3-3, those Marines are going to be, yeah, quite a bit more powerful than they normally would be. Zerglings ready to go in for the counterattack, it seems. A couple of SCVs will be killed on the left. Is that an SCV? I don't know. It was something. Floating to the surface. Okay, I like this. This is a bit of a cheeky location here for Clem. I don't think this should really work out very well for him. But, I mean, Serral does have to go in and check here in a little bit, right? If he doesn't, then the planetary finishes. It could become a bit of a disaster. He needs a little bit more money right now, actually. He's very gas-starved and mineral-starved in general. It's the only downside of spending your money so good. You gotta save up, man. StarCraft has taught me that having money in the bank is bad. Don't do it, man. What I've learned. It looks to me like all of the run-bys over here have been cleaned up as well. Serral is close to maxing out. He's got a lot of gas in the bank. Maybe a couple infestors in the mix would not be a bad idea, but that's obviously another unit to control at this point, which is quite difficult to pull off. And when it comes to, like, the fights, right, the cost efficiency, especially with those upgrades, they go heavily in favor of the Terran in these kind of points in the game, assuming Terran players micro well. It's a big assumption, but the lack of creep here and the advantage in upgrades make these fights really quite good for Terran. Planetary, still not even started, man. Turns out if you put on enough pressure, there's no way that Zerg is going to go for a Zergling counterattack, apparently. There's plenty of missile turrets here. Even a couple of Widow Mines are burrowed in very obnoxious locations. No way that those Mutas are going to be able to continue dealing damage over there. Hatchery on the right side of the map also got cleaned up. Mutas are going to try and continue the harassment, I guess. Which is good. Base at 12 o'clock did get scanned just now by Terran, so Clem already heading on over in that direction. He knows that this is going to be one of the few mining locations of Terran or of Zerg here very shortly. There's a lot of Widow Mines over there. Can he kill them? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Well, that was a disaster in the making. Worked out quite decently well now, though. Okay, so Hive is done, but there's no money at this point, really, for Serral to start up 3-3 and Adrenal Glands, right? He really needs those upgrades. I know I'm hammering a lot on upgrades, but with these basic units, they're so important. I'll shut up about it now, though. Mutas have made their way on over towards the planetary fortress. There's plenty of them right now as well to go after the missile turret, so this is nice. Once again, a couple SCVs end up getting picked off. Dangerous moves here, though, by Serral, because he doesn't really know exactly how many Widow Mines are burrowed here. Once again, a couple missile turrets will get killed. At the same time, the fight over here is still being controlled reasonably well as well by the both of them. No one taking critical losses. Oh god, oh god. Ooh. Mutas almost end up going down, and that's because Serral right now is focusing on the army up north. Once again, great splits right here by Clem, man. Woohoo! Kiting that army absolutely gorgeously off creep. Adrenal glands and +3 carapace have started up right now. A couple of Zerglings have made their way on over to the third base, but reinforcements are awaiting. Yeah. How many mutas have gone down? 26, okay. I think Clem is doing it. Clem is looking so dangerous, man. I'm curious to see when offline tournaments start back up again how good Clem is gonna be, because that's like the one downside I guess for Clem at this point, is that he doesn't have that much offline experience, and playing at a tournament is very different than playing from home, right? So the tournaments obviously recently have all been from home, which is nice, but that's the only thing I can really think of that might be able to hold Clem back, because he's looking insane, man. Zerglings over here, though, are starting to deal a lot of damage. Queen's still pushing this back as well. Actually, Serral's really making the best of this. He's kind of broke, though. That's kind of the main issue. These Zerglings he's making, I mean, they're super critical. Okay, nice. Good split off right there. Terran still has so many mineral patches to mine. Yeah, those Widow Mine hits have been absolutely glorious. Thor at like 14 kills, but 1 HP. Okay, 6 HP. It will probably end up nope, it won't go down. Maybe the medevac will go down? Nope. Oh my god, no way! Why are you microing a medevac with 4 health and a Thor with 6? Hello? Hello? What the f— Alright. Sure, yeah. Okay, the Thor finally goes down, but that man inside of that machine sure paid for itself. Get me back into the fight! My Thor impression is not that good, but I'm here, click me! No, I'm not even gonna try. I'm just embarrassing myself at this point. Yeah. Clem has been piling on the pressure for the better part of this 20-minute long game. I think he piled on the pressure ever since he had like his first Reaper, really. Remember that Reaper microing in a natural? Then the Reapers were followed by Hellions, and then the Hellions were followed by Banshees, and then after that we had Marines, Siege Tanks, Medevacs, and everything else. Clem was happily out multitasking Serral here for the better part of like 15 minutes, and yeah, eventually, he just looked better, right? Now, for what it's worth, by the way, like I mentioned at the beginning of this series, this is part of the TSL qualifiers, and even though apparently Serral got defeated here by Liquid Clem, he then moved on to the lower bracket, where he faced Euthermal in the lower bracket finals, and he still moved on as well to the main event. So even though Serral did get eliminated right here by Clem, he is still going to be part of TSL 7. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching today's video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the little bell icon so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. My Loop Hero playthrough is currently going up on the second YouTube channel. Really fun little game, so if you're interested in that, there's a link down below that will take you to that second YouTube channel, but it's youtube.com/morelowko, which is where I post completed games that I've streamed on Twitch. For now, though, thank you very much so for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you once again in the next one.